The night she appeared at my door, the rain was falling so hard it felt like the sky itself was breaking apart, and for a moment I thought I was seeing a ghost shaped by memory and grief. Her silhouette stood trembling under the porch light, soaked to the bone, eyes searching for something she wasn't sure she deserved anymore. In that single heartbeat, every year of distance collapsed into one unbearable second, and the past I had buried deep inside rose up, raw and alive, ready to either heal me or tear me open all over again. Before this story pulls you further into its depths, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the quiet miracles that happen when broken hearts dare to hope again, take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs encouragement, leave a heartfelt comment, and subscribe to the channel for more stories that touch the soul. Years earlier, life had felt simpler, even when it was hard. We had been two ordinary people building dreams out of small paychecks, weak coffee, and stubborn hope. We lived in a narrow apartment with paint peeling off the walls and a future that felt wide open. I worked long hours chasing stability, convincing myself that providing was the same as loving. She waited at home with patience that slowly turned into loneliness. Our love didn't shatter in one loud argument. It eroded quietly through missed dinners, tired smiles, and unspoken disappointments. By the time we realized something precious was slipping away, neither of us knew how to reach for it without hurting each other. When she finally left, there were no dramatic goodbyes, only silence heavy enough to crush a chest. I told myself it was for the best, that some bridges burn so we can find new paths. Still, every empty room kept whispering her name. After she was gone, survival became routine. Mornings came whether I was ready or not. Work swallowed my days, exhaustion filled my nights. I learned how to live around the ache instead of through it. Friends moved on, relationships came and went, but none of them ever quite filled the space she left behind. I pretended I was healed because time had passed, but the truth was simpler and more painful. I had only learned how to hide the scars. Sometimes, in crowded places, would imagine her somewhere out there, laughing without me, finding the happiness I failed to protect. Other nights, I wondered if she was as lonely as I was, staring at different ceilings with the same unanswered questions. Then came that stormy evening when the past refused to stay buried. The moment I opened the door and saw her standing there, soaked and shaking, everything I had built to keep myself safe crumbled. She looked older, thinner, stronger in ways that only struggle can forge. Her eyes carried exhaustion deeper than any physical tiredness, the kind that settles into the soul after too many disappointments. For a long moment, neither of us moved. The rain spoke for us, crashing against the world as if urging us to finally confront what we had avoided for years. I could feel the weight of everything unsaid pressing between us, thick as the humid air. Her strength faltered first. The brave mask she had worn to survive slipped, just enough to reveal how fragile she really was beneath it all. The request she made was small, almost childlike in its simplicity, yet it carried the desperation of someone who had been strong for far too long. In that instant, anger, pride, and old resentment lost their grip on me. What replaced them was recognition, the painful awareness that the woman in front of me was not my past mistake standing in the rain, but a wounded soul searching for a moment of safety. I stepped forward before thought could interfere. When my arms closed around her, it felt as if time itself had paused to watch two broken pieces finally acknowledge each other. At first she was stiff, unsure whether she was truly welcome. Then, slowly, as if years of fear melted in one breath, she leaned into that embrace with a quiet collapse that broke something open inside my chest. Her body trembled, not from the cold, but from the release of a strength she had been clutching for too long. I felt her tears soak into my shirt, each one a confession of nights spent alone, of battles fought without witnesses, of pain carried in silence because there was nowhere safe to lay it down. We stood there in the doorway as the rain poured behind her, two people suspended between what was and what might still be. I did not ask where she had been or what had led her back to me. Some truths do not need interrogation. They live in the tremors of a body breaking down in your arms. In that moment, I learned that forgiveness is not always a spoken decision. Sometimes it is a physical instinct, a quiet surrender to the part of you that still knows how to love. When the storm outside finally softened, we moved inside, leaving behind the night that had returned her to me. The house felt different with her presence in it, less like a shelter of survival and more like a place that could hold life again. She didn't share much of her story at first, only fragments shaped by hesitation and fear. Enough for me to understand that life had tested her harshly, that every place she once believed would save her had eventually pushed her away. She had not come searching for comfort out of entitlement, but out of exhaustion. For the first time since she left, I saw her not as the woman who walked away, but as the one who had been quietly drowning. The days that followed were slow and uncertain. Healing never arrives as a dramatic transformation. It moves in hesitant steps. She remained guarded, as if any moment the ground beneath her might vanish again. I struggled too, caught between old pain and new compassion. Some nights I lay awake questioning my own heart, wondering whether reopening this door would leave me more broken than before. Yet each morning, I watched her try, to smile again, to trust again, to believe that she was worthy of gentleness. And with every fragile effort she made, something inside me shifted from fear toward hope. Little by little, life began to breathe between us again. Shared meals replaced lonely ones. Quiet companionship filled the spaces that used to echo with absence. The memories that once haunted me began to transform into lessons instead of wounds. We were still surrounded by uncertainty, still imperfect, still carrying the weight of everything that had broken us. But for the first time in years, we were no longer carrying it alone. One night, as the house settled into familiar silence and the hum of the world outside faded, she stood close enough for me to feel her presence without needing to look. The same vulnerability that had once drenched her in rain now surfaced in a quieter form, tender and hesitant. The simple need she expressed held the same depth as before, not as desperation this time, but as an invitation to trust. In that instant, the truth rose in me without hesitation or doubt. My arms had never truly closed to her. They had only been waiting for the moment she was brave enough to return. If this story is stirring memories in your heart, if it reminds you of someone you miss or a forgiveness you are still searching for, please take a moment right now to comment and share what this story made you feel. Your words could be the comfort someone else is desperately needing to hear. By the time the seasons began to change, so did we. The wounds did not magically vanish, but they softened with time and tenderness. We learned that love after loss is not about rewriting the past but about choosing, again and again, to build something honest on the ruins of what once was. Sometimes we stumbled. Sometimes the weight of memory pulled us backward. But every time doubt tried to take hold, there was that simple truth between us, that even after everything, the door had opened, and the arms behind it had remained waiting. And if this story touched your heart, if it reminded you that even the most broken paths can lead back to hope, please like this video, share it with someone who believes in kindness and second chances, and subscribe to the channel so we can continue walking through these stories of healing and humanity together.